Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're back down here in Porchville.
Hell yeah.
What's up, Matt?
Man, I am so excited about tonight.
Are you? Tell me about it. Why are you so excited?
Well, there's a guy that we know, Houston Keen. Yeah.
Houston Keen.
Yeah, he seems like a really cool guy.
Episode 11. Houston Keen. Welcome back, man.
What's up, man?
What's
up, man?
How are you?
I was just talking to my producer about episode 11. He was asking me, he's like, so what's the podcast? And I was like, well, I've done it. I did it once when I first moved home. And anyway, and he was like, oh, we got to find the episode. I was like, episode 11. I was like, listen, though, bro. I was like, it's great for that first hour. But, man, that last 30 minutes, I just was getting smashed. And I don't mean to be an alcoholic. But you know what, dude? It's just all part of the fun. So.
I do remember. And it's funny because when I listened back to it, there was definitely that moment of like, oh, there it is. That's when we had taken one shot too many.
I believe. I
don't know that I'd call it too many, though.
It wasn't a bad thing,
Oh,
man.
no, hell no. We had a great time. And it was on a Thursday. If you remember, that was a Thursday night, too.
That's when I was taking off Thursdays and Fridays. You can't do that now, man. Ever since this COVID thing, you got to. I've been working 6 days a week doing concrete.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that because this thing kind of came through and just wiped out. I mean, everybody playing,
for sure.
Restaurants, bars,
for sure.
Nobody's doing anything.
For sure.
Obviously, luckily you had concrete to fall back on.
Yeah,
that's
I'm super tan, so that's great, man. That's what I like. That's great, but. Yeah, no.
You look great.
No,
I gotta say, you really look great.
Jacked, bro. No, I'm kidding. No, man. But the thing is like the concrete is great or whatever. But the thing about the music is it's like I went from going like 4 shows a week to having nothing, and even more than myself. Which don't get me wrong, I have some musician friends that live strictly off of music, and it was like especially I just moved home from Austin, and it was like. I'm friends with all these people in Austin who are just like living off of music, and it's like all of a sudden it's like dead.
Well, that was one of the things that I had made a note to make sure to ask you was,
right.
The timing couldn't have been better for you personally.
Yeah, I don't know why I have luck with those things.
But my God, I don't
know why I have luck with those things.
What would you have done if you were still in Austin when all this popped off? Just packed up and rode home?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, it seems like the smart thing to do.
Yeah.
It does. And the thing is, I've talked to a few friends. I got a good friend, Sean Mullins, and he's got a little podcast in Austin as well, the Bar Austin podcast. And shout out to them. What? And the thing is, man, is like they're kind of like bringing in people like that, and they're talking about issues like this, where it's like real musicians who are having, they're starving because they don't have any work. And it's not like, dude, when I was living in Austin, it's like I have no credentials. I don't have a college application or a college degree or whatever. I graduated high school and I'm kind of clever. But the thing is, it's like I can't fucking do anything else. So
did you say you're clever?
I'm kind of clever in some respect.
Yeah.
And so, but the thing is, I couldn't work anything other than music. So the thing is, if this happened when I was living in Austin, yes. I would have packed and gone home like I would have had to because I wouldn't have been able to pay rent. It would have been bad.
No, I totally understand that. Like the only reason why I live in Florida is because of my girlfriend. And if anything ever happened, if anything ever happened, I would be back in Wisconsin. Like I wouldn't have anything. Like.
Well, that's what happened. I moved out there with a girl I was living with.
Is that what
Florida,
happened?
And then we moved out there, and then how shit goes south. Whatever, you're young and dumb.
Whatever. Oh yeah.
You know how it goes.
Yeah.
And no shame in that. And whatever. But so I moved back home. But I tell you, there's a real beauty in that. Like there's a real beauty in moving home because I didn't realize it. But man, I'm so happy we're back in this podcast because now I can think back to like, okay, well the last time we had this podcast was in like November, December. Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it was very kind of right when I moved home. It was a great time. But, I had a lot to think about at the time. But now I'm kind of very refined in my notions of how moving home has affected me. And the thing is, I think it's all for the better. Not only has working a day job made me kind of grow up and have better lyricism, I feel like. Not to be like this guy who's like, oh, fucking write songs, like whatever. But I'm just saying, like, I feel like I write better songs and the beer tastes better at the end of the day. So it's like I love working the day job as hard as it is. And then not only that, but it's like I'm moving at 100 times the velocity because not only do I have the money from the day job and the gigs to pack into it, but I also have a fan base and friends here and talented talented musicians in Gainesville. That was my rock and roll band, and we worked the shit out of this one studio, Black Bear. What's up? And man, I'm moving at 100 times the velocity.
You lost your page at one point though. What happened with that?
Right, and that was
because I looked today. You had a page 7.3.
Oh, you mean the Facebook page?
The Facebook page. What was the deal with that?
So I started getting, and I am such an idiot for falling for this. I don't know why. Like I feel like I'm so good with marketing, and I just fell for this. But I kept getting these like spam messages that I didn't know were spam necessarily, but they came from like valid accounts, and I was checking the accounts, and I was like, these seem very valid, and they were offering me money offers. They were like, hey, can you promote this? Like, can you do an ad, and we'll do this? And it seemed very legitimate. Like they were even calling me. Like I'm not kidding. This shit got kind of out of hand. Like I was getting 5 or 6 messages a day, and I was like, damn. This thing is like, maybe I'm because I'm verified.
Yeah.
I've got over 7,000 or 8,000 likes. I'm like, maybe I could start doing ads and making revenue off of that. That would be incredible. And I was like, that's damn awesome. Right. So I got to a point, especially when this COVID thing kicked off, I was like, I'm tired of working concrete, and they're about to offer me $300 for an ad with their toothpaste or whatever. I'll do it. That's no problem.
Yeah.
So I go through with it, right? And I give my account to this. Well, I don't give the account, but basically I just have this like management system of like, they tell you to convert it to like a Facebook business, and I didn't really know much about it, but I converted it to Facebook business, and then I gave them some kind of admin control, I guess, somehow. Anyway, next thing I know, I can't log into my account. It's completely gone, and it's replaced with like some new profile picture of like an Asian woman, which is crazy. I had a client message me, and she's like, hey, like I know we have this gig, like I just wanted to make sure I wasn't spammed because like your account is gone and now it's some Asian woman. And I was like, oh my God, I couldn't even find it. All the links are broken and everything.
Really?
It's terrible. Now, luckily I have some great friends and we've really rebuilt it, but I'm still working on that verified badge, which is thank you, which is a motherfucker, man.
So your page now is all new?
My page now is all new.
No shit. Well, you built that up pretty damn quick then. That's impressive.
Well, I sank a lot of money into it.
Really?
Facebook will do one magic motherfucker to you if you give him like $500-600.
No shit.
And it sucks, but it's like, yeah, like let's go ahead and just push the marketing. And not only that, but like I've been investing in. Am I talking too fast?
No, you're fine.
Lot, right?
You're fine.
Anyway, the thing is, like, I've been investing in like all this new equipment for video wear and photo stuff, and like I want to start being able to do it on my own so I can do it on the fly.
Yeah.
And the thing is like if I can create content, like high quality cinematic content with music videos and everything, I can pump that shit out. And bro, that's the key.
I saw the thing you posted the other day. Is that sort of a part of your foray into the video?
Was it In the Dark or
it was like a new music coming soon kind of video.
Yes, that's like that's with one of the new lenses, you know. And
well, the imagery was beautiful.
Thanks,
I can tell you that.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I was just honestly, I went to Ace Hardware and I bought a bunch of lights for like $50 and like got a bunch of colored lights. I use my iPhone and it has this Moment lens. I feel like I'm giving an ad right now. Anyway, it has this Moment lens and it's like very cinematic and anamorphic lens, whatever bullshit. Anyway, I'm not a photographer or a videographer. I'm just some kid with an iPhone. Anyway, but like you can achieve those beautiful shots, man. Like kids, here's the thing, and I've said this last time.
I get you.
Kids in America, you don't understand how good you got it, man. You can download free program. Man, back in the day, kids used to have to listen to a vinyl record and then skip back to the right part to get that guitar solo.
Just the accessibility, like camera, like the technology that people have at their disposal now. Like when I was starting my band, when I was starting Holidays 2001, if we had this kind of equipment, this kind of access to be able to push it out there. We were too busy chasing everybody at every show, having them sign the mailing list so that we could send them an email letting them know next time we were coming to town.
Right.
Facebook, MySpace, all that stuff. Man, if it had been as big as it is now, it would have been. I feel like it would have been so much easier.
Right.
Because we would have had 4 guys pushing it, doing the work and.
Dude, I'm still like thinking about like the first time that I actually got any records, it was all on tape.
Well, what was your first record album that you remember listening to?
Alanis Morissette.
Alanis Morissette, huh?
Yeah, it was given to me by my cousin, and it was.
I
thought it was cool as fuck.
I bought my wife tickets to go see Alanis Morissette.
And she canceled.
Yeah, no, she rescheduled. So that's a nice way to keep my money tied up for another year.
That's right.
I'd be surprised if they actually
I know so many friends that are pissed because they can't get a refund for their concert tickets. I had a buddy I worked with.
Do you even know who Alanis Morissette is?
Yeah, she does that. She does that, and the bombs, and the or whatever, right?
No, that's Zombie. That's Zombie. Cranberries.
Oh, it's Cranberries.
You ought to know.
Obviously, I don't know who.
Ironic.
Zombie.
I know her name.
Zombie.
Oh, but
yeah, that one.
I lost. We didn't get to go to Rockville, so I did get a refund for that at least, which was nice. But
where is Rockville?
I did too. Like Courtney and I were gonna go with you.
It was at Daytona this year. It was supposed to be, and we had access. We were ready to go, man. We had we're gonna be able to hopefully get backstage and interview some of the bands, but it all fell through.
Do they? Well, that's incredible that you're doing that. I love that you're reaching for that shit, man.
Trying to.
I strive on that.
Trying to. We'll talk more about that later. We got some stuff to talk about on that.
Tight, man. I'm stoked. So does Rockville do like Warped Tour where they have multiple things?
Yeah,
okay.
multiple. Well, Rockville itself is just one show. It started in Jacksonville, moved to Daytona this year, but it does move around, but it changes name based on where it is. Like there's Rock on the Range, I think was one they were doing. There was Carolina Rebellion, all these different ones. There was I don't even know how many of them.
What are like spawns from that?
Yeah, it's Danny Weimer Productions and Monster Energy Drink puts it on.
Gotcha.
So they do them all over the fucking country. Gotcha. But
tight, man.
Yeah, the Rockville one was ours, and man, it would have been fun, but always next year. So
always next year. That's how I look at it too, man. Honestly, I feel like this year has been, you know what?
This year is all about figuring out
yourself
in the midst of all of this bullshit. How do I keep being productive and putting out shit and being entertaining? Because you don't want to just stop. I mean, you're a creative fucking guy. I mean, we all are. We're all creators in some sort. I mean, we wouldn't be sitting here doing this if we weren't.
Of course.
And
I'm not creative at all.
Well, come on, Matt.
What you're doing right now is being creative. So that works. It works.
That's right.
By
I love
talking about how I'm not creative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Every time I'm here, I'm like, man, I got to get a setup like this. This is just what's up, man. Me and my buddies could just hang out and do something, It'd be great. And that's the thing, you saw Rogan, he just sold to Spotify for $100 million.
I did.
Dude, the minute I saw that, I was like, listen, if you got an idea, execute.
Yeah.
Do it.
Exactly. That's what we're doing here.
Yep.
Is just we're gonna keep pushing forward. We're gonna I've been fortunate.
Yeah, we're gonna sell this for $100,000.
I love it.
100,000.
Either way, there's $100 million.
Yeah. But yeah, in the midst of all of this, we gotta fucking keep being creative.
Of course.
And so you're going, you're doing some video work and stuff like that.
I am doing the video work, and that's kind of a side business.
And you're recording like crazy too.
Bro.
Every time I see you, I'm in the studio.
I'm in the studio, yeah. And that's the thing about the concrete money is that in these dying times of no music, the studio doesn't stop. And I didn't want it to stop because, I mean, it is a very expensive venture, especially without the music, because it's like no discretion. But it's like with the music, if I can pump out a good $500 in the weekend, that goes to the studio.
Yeah.
Music pays for music.
Yeah.
And that's incredible, But the thing is, like, man, when you're making, $320 for a 40-hour work week and you're sunburnt and you're cut up, it's like, man, what do you do?
Yep.
So thankfully the gigs are coming back, but the thing is like, yes, I use that concrete money, was like, all right, bro, every little bit we can get, let's get it, and we have this. I wanted my producer to be here. He had a show, so good for him. But anyway, the thing is like, we want to talk about this new record.
Yeah.
So we're doing this thing called Warmer Era, right? And so basically this thing started on Facebook, and I got to give the guy credit. I don't know his name. I hope he doesn't hear this. Anyway, I don't remember his name.
Don't worry, you probably won't.
I gotta look it up.
Highly unlikely.
I'm gonna pump the shit out of this. Anyway, the point is, whatever. So like, I had this thing where I was like, man, I posted on Facebook where I was like, I'm trying to come up with a name for the new summer EP, which is like, a little 5-song CD or whatever. And I was like, it's all the songs are gonna be conducive or whatever. And I had none of the songs written. I had no titles. I had none of the songs. And I kind of had these little lines in the back of my notebook that were just like, I just had been scribbling over the past 2 years, ever since like, because what you have to also realize is that, Jenny had been done for like a year and a half before it was released.
Yeah.
Like it was, I was waiting on the mastering, and the thing is that took so long, and whatever that was. But the thing is like it honestly dropped at the appropriate time. It dropped at the beginning of 2019, and then I was immediately already in the studio recording the next single. So it's like Jenny dropped. Okay, that was January and February. Then The Party dropped on March, and then we got another single dropping in like 15 days or something, like on the 19th for In the Dark, and that's like a beautiful country ballad or whatever.
Yeah.
And then that moves us to stage 2, which is this summer EP, which me and my buddies have kind of put together. So like the incredible thing about this, sorry everybody. Bad habits. So the incredible thing about this thing is like I had none of these songs written, but I had a bunch of lines that I was like, I really like. I'm sure as a musician you understand this. You have a notebook full of lines that you're like, I don't know where that goes, but there's a puzzle that it goes into. And I had these vicious lines that I loved, and I was like, I want to put them somewhere. Well, anyway, whenever I kind of was finished with, tracking In the Dark, I was like, man, we really got to get going on this summer EP because I want to release it by the end of the summer. I was like, I got to write these songs. I don't even have the fucking songs. And I sat down, man, and literally I wrote the 5-song EP within the course of a month or two.
No shit.
Which is a lot different for me because Jenny was written over the course of like a year and a half. And so like you can listen to some songs on that record, or I do, and I go, oh yeah, that was 20-year-old Houston, and this was 23-year-old Houston, and this was, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you had mentioned that when you were here before too, how, listening to the record once it was all done, how you were like, there's some of those songs I don't even fucking play anymore.
Exactly.
But, they're still there.
Totally.
I do gotta say this though. I listened to that numerous times.
Well, I'm glad you
CD.
like it.
And
I think Stan Martell Studios, man, he did an incredible job. And I've said this before, you turned me on to that dude. I mean, it's because I don't know if you know, Matt, so I used to play Bubba in Denellen? Archer.
Alachua.
And Nick was the manager, and he was like, man, you got a certain sound, like, and he let me listen to a Holidays track that Stan had produced, and I was
which is the opening track of the show.
That was right up 441.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That was Bubba Q's. And the track that you listened to was Change Our World, which is the song that opens the show. And I just got to play a little piece of it because this was my favorite song off the whole record. I listened to this song more than any of them. When I put your CD on, this is the song I go to every single time. Badlands by Houston Keen. I love this fucking song. It's so good. It's gritty. Listen to that shit.
Well, out here, there's still more than just your money.
Oh yeah, listen to that voice.
And out here, the wolves are more than hungry.
I am very aroused.
And out here, if you pay the right cash, you could get away with anything. Leave the dollars on the tracks when you know they gotta ask. Just say you don't know a thing. In these badlands that we're living in, the best kind of luck buys the worst of the sands. Whatever kind of trouble good money gets in these badlands. Put $1 million on the table if you're able, keep buying, 'cause the numbers out here ain't the only thing lying in these badlands.
That is sexy as fuck. I'll tell you what. I love the sound of it. I love the vibe of it.
Thanks,
I love the way that the lyrics in your chorus, like they just go along with the music. You know, it's not you're not singing over top of it. You're going right along with it.
Thanks,
it's just,
man.
It's just
and that
sexy.
that right
I
there
like
is
it.
coming from like one of the most popular people in Gainesville.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You're one of the most popular people in
Absolutely
Gainesville.
not. We're talking about Jenny and Houston.
Everybody knows Nick, man. Come on.
I wouldn't be friends with you if you weren't popular.
Oh well, that's nice to know. That's nice to know that my
The
popularity is what dictates our friendship.
That's right.
I love that.
Yeah.
Get used to it.
It makes me a little hard.
Oh, I like this guy. He's getting aroused all over
Calm
the
down,
place.
Matthew. Calm
That's
down.
right.
Take your fucking
All right.
Ritalin, whatever.
So
Houston's cool with this.
Well,
so
okay.
I'm fine
All
what
right.
do we got to do?
Calm down.
on.
Don't. I wouldn't tempt him. I wouldn't tempt
Sexy.
him. It's
So,
dangerous.
Before we get any further, explain these. We've got some.
So we
some
got
whiskeys
several
here.
whiskeys here. We've got this one here is something that Matt brought over. He said it was kind of terrible, but it wasn't terrible. This is a blended malt Scotch whiskey called Monkey Shoulder.
Okay.
This is the winner of the
Are you over 21?
Porchville.
Babyface.
when you started playing barbecues, he wasn't.
Don't
Shit.
say those things.
Were you even? I don't even know if you were 20.
I was
back
19.
then. Yeah, you were.
19.
Yeah, but yeah, Screwball peanut butter whiskey that won the
God.
that won
I
the
know all
Porchville
about
challenge.
I know all about it.
This
Screwball
is
is-
we got some
is pretty
tequila,
clutch.
some vodka.
God.
Of course, you can't go wrong with the old Jim Beam down there. But what you have there in that crazy brown
Rattlesnake?
bottle,
Okay.
Rattlesnake Rosie's maple bacon.
Okay.
So you try that at your own risk. I've got a little bit of everything. I got some rum inside.
Well,
It's
okay.
whatever
I'm brave.
you like.
I'm
Whatever you
brave.
like.
I got to try out that maple bacon.
You're gonna try the maple bacon. Well, you
Try
can
it.
you can both try it. Here, pour Matt a shot in there too, and you guys can try it together.
That's what I love about the Porchville podcast is you can have a little drink on the set. It's
that's
all
what's
good.
that's how we do it. You know, relax.
This is how we do it.
But we can't
This
sing
is
songs
how
like
we
that.
do it.
Oh, right.
Nope.
That's
sorry.
right. Yep. Copyrights.
Yeah.
called-
Legitimate legal
well-
issues.
We can delete that in post.
Edit.
What the fuck you mean we can delete? I'm the one who's got a goddamn edit.
Oh.
I don't have to worry about it.
I
don't
know
have
that
to worry
pain.
about it.
Try that maple bacon. Cheers. Welcome
Cheers
back.
to that.
Welcome
Yes,
back
sir.
to the
And
show, man. We're,
Thank you
we're
guys
glad
for
you're
having
back.
me. I'm happy
Houston,
to be
it's
here.
Houston, it is a
Here's to
blast
Jenny,
having you
wherever
around.
she may be.
Always looking for me. Oh, damn. You know what? Okay. Let me tell you something. There is a shot, and I don't know what it's called. It's like the Irish pancake or some shit. But
I'm
basically, it's all like it's like you take a shot of JMO and you have some bacon that you crisp up in the. It's a lot for a bartender. You crisp up the bacon in a microwave, and you get the Jameson, and then there's something else. I don't remember what it is, but man, you take that shit and it tastes just like a pancake.
Seems like a bit much.
It's a lot for a bartender, but man,
Jesus.
it's a bartender turned me on to it. She's like, "You
Really?
gotta check this out." I was like, "Oh shit, it's like a pancake." I get
Mine
it."
was the chocolate cake shot. Back in the day, we used to play this. We used to play O'Malley's Alley down in Ocala, and there was a bartender named Amy, and she was amazing. She turned us all onto the chocolate cake shot, which we'd never heard of before. But I'll be goddamned, it tasted just like chocolate cake, and it was amazing. So we'd take them before every show back then. Good times. What's your pre-drink? What's your
Well,
pre-show drink?
What
You know,
was Amy hot?
Yes, very. She's a bartender
Gotta be.
at a bar, and you know where live bands are playing. She's got to be a hottie.
That's the fault, man. See, and I actually have had this discussion so many times since recently being single now. It's like, man, I've realized my problem. I fall for bartenders. And the problem is when you're a musician, that shit happens because you work the same schedule and
Yeah.
you deal with the same
It's
assholes.
easy, exactly.
You see the same terrible shit.
Yep.
And so you relate.
What's your pre-show drink?
Well, you know, I'm a man of Jameson.
Yeah.
You know, the last time I was here, legit, Matt wasn't here, but the last time I was here, I had one of those $20 bottles of Jameson. It was like kind of the bitch Jameson, but it was like, you know, it was like pretty tall. Dude, I finished that whole thing, and I was like,
I know
feel
you did.
terrible. I'm so sorry. You know, and I told myself, I actually talked to a few friends, and I was like, I'm not going to do that this time. I'm gonna go in there with beer. Like, it'll be good. It's all good, but I feel pretty coherent.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick, I gotta tell you something.
Shoot.
I like this guy.
Yeah, he's all right. He's an all right guy.
Yeah. Houston's a cool dude.
Full of energy.
I like him.
So, I know we talked before too. Like, you know, drinking's a big deal. You know,
Of course.
and I know I've seen you express a few things through Facebook and stuff like that. You know, talking, and you were very
course.
open last time
I am, yeah.
about you know, struggles that you've had.
Of course.
with alcohol and pills, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, you know, my dad was an alcoholic, and it runs in that thing, man. It's a hereditary
It's
thing.
tough.
It's
It's
a
tough.
very tough thing, and
Yep.
I love a drink, man. And working construction, you can't get away from
That's
it.
right.
You know, I have a friend that just started working for the company, construction. You know, and him and I are working together, and he's my age, or he's like 24. You know, I'm 25,
Yep.
and he's 24, and he's trying to stop dipping. You know. And the first week or so he started working, you know, he was like, man, I'm down to one dip a day. And he was talking to me. I was like, man, that's awesome. Like, I commend you for that, because it's a very hard thing to stop nicotine.
Yeah.
Smoking a cigarette right now, everybody. And it's a
I'm like 9 or 10 months out.
and I love that. I felt nervous.
I feel
about
great about it.
bringing-
No.
I felt
That's
nervous.
awesome.
My wife
When I saw
smokes.
you, I was like, all right.
My wife smokes.
Well,
I mean, so
and I commend you
know,
for that.
It is what it is.
And I was talking to, you know, the 24-year-old that works for us now, and you know, I was like, man, you know, it's addiction's a very difficult thing,
Yeah.
and working out here, it doesn't help because everybody's going to offer you a cigarette. Everyone's going to offer you a dip. Everyone's going to offer you, because man, we're out here sweating. It's hard, man.
Well, it's part of the culture.
It's
too,
part of the culture of
Yeah.
constructionism.
Yep.
That's a word. Anyway, of construction, and it's like it's tough, man. And I talked to him about addiction, and him and he's a pretty intelligent dude, and so we just kind of go back and forth on that. But it's a tough thing to kick, and I've gotten a lot better about my drinking since moving home. But don't get me wrong, man. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not.
Now, when you say living at home, are you living at home, mom and dad?
Living with my dad.
With your dad.
Living with my dad, and he's
Is he kind of? Does he still drink, or is he?
No, he's been sober for
he knows
10, 15 years.
He knows what to look for. Then
he's like an ex-crackhead, man.
Yeah.
He knows everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get away with anything.
Does he call you out?
Well, yeah, but he doesn't care. He knows I'm 25.
Yeah.
He's like, well, don't get out of hand,
Right.
but do this, whatever. And I've never been to jail. I've never, done anything crazy, but it's just a matter of like I can see it in myself, and not only that, but I think there's a benefit to being honest with yourself and saying, look, man, if you have to drink liquor and maybe 12 beers a day, you might have a problem.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm very open about that, and I do have to drink liquor or 12 beers a day, otherwise I start shaking.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily proud of that, but it's in the same token, I think it's important to be honest about that, so I don't get carried away and I know myself.
I can.
You want to pipe in on that?
I can absolutely understand what you're saying.
Well, I want to say while you kind of collect your thoughts about this a little bit, because I know we're broaching a subject that has been a little tender for you. So Matt has had his battles with alcohol,
of course, we all have.
And I mean, if there's one thing that everybody has known from Matt, it's that motherfucker can drink some beers, and recently though
I'll put him down.
He's been trying to curtail that a little bit, and
Great.
I have,
because you said,
if you don't mind me kind of taking over for a little bit.
well, you said to me, and the reason I'm bringing this up, you said that there's a frequent drinking to excess to blackout stage that you go through.
Yeah.
And so I've been talking with you, and I know Courtney's been talking with him and everything, and so it's just it's kind of that perfect timing that you're here.
Well, I think it's important to be open about these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with that 100%. I'm 33 years old, and I've had some drinking issues. Mm-hmm. I actually have 2 DUIs, which is not cool.
Nope.
Nobody would like that.
But it happens.
It does.
And that's no excuse, but hey, man, I mean, if you can say that and you can recover if you acknowledge that as a bad thing, then that's the first step to recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Yep.
And I appreciate you saying that, and I think that's great. What really sucks about it is that I really want to recover from it, but it's really hard. You know, like it's hard to get around that corner.
Yeah, it's really difficult when everybody around you is doing it too. That was always the big thing for me when it was quitting smoking. Which I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, it's a hard fucking thing to quit.
Of course, nicotine is one of the hardest things.
And mentally, what I've been through with it has been a whole other ball of wax that I didn't even expect. But trust me, it doesn't bother me a bit at this point. It's been a struggle to get there from time to time. But
I commend you for that.
But
man. You ought to be proud of that.
I just shit. I kind of trailed off where the fuck I was going with it. But anyway, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for for the both of yous for
right. Well, I feel like I've cut back a lot.
It.
I feel like I've cut back a lot, and I've cut back a lot because I know that it's going to kill me.
Yeah.
And I know it sucks, but
yeah.
In the same token, it's like, and I literally said, this is so dark, and I don't mean to bring this on you
Not
guys,
at all.
but in the same
Throw it
token,
down.
it's like, if you want the real level of honesty, it's like, okay, you want a reason to stop dipping or a reason to stop smoking. It's like, listen, what if you get to the top and you've got 2 Grammys and then your jaw rots off?
Yeah.
What are you going to do then? You going to sing anymore? No, you're not.
Yep.
So it's like, I think that being, and this comes from my hard ass dad, but it's like, listen, my dad sees it, just like you say, he can notice it. He sees it and he goes, hey man, I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, but I've been there.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, there ain't no good at the end of the tunnel. And I look at that and I confront that every day, and I try to be better. And don't get me wrong, man, I love a drink and I love a cigarette or whatever, but it's just like, every time I do it, I realize it's like, okay, well, that's a token. That's you're not going to be able to sing this note anymore. You're not going to be able to do this. You're going to, eventually you might end up doing this or this or this. And it's like, I have to have that consciousness about me. And I think that's important. Not necessarily be a hard ass on myself. I think you should live your life. If you're 25, go fucking have fun. But the thing is, it's like, you need to have some roots.
Yeah.
Something, that's
something
important.
tying you down, and
Of
something
course.
that's going to bring you back, and it's
course.
going to ground you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I feel like I have a bright future. Not to be cocky, I never want to be that. But the thing is, I feel like I do have a bright future, and if I don't abuse the current powers at will, then I feel like I could perhaps make something great of it.
Houston, from everything that I've heard all day today, you do have a beautiful voice, and you have an awesome career.
It's getting there, man.
Well, like I told Matt before you got here, I said, Houston is, you're doing some next level shit, and that's, the stuff that you're doing is not things that just your average fly-by-night fucking guy out there playing in the bars is doing. You are taking it to a different level, and I do. I think good things are coming for you, man. I really do.
Well, I like to believe that, man, and I try to stay a very positive attitude to be such a, I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, and I was talking about how I'm more of a pessimist. If you put it this way, if you put pessimist at 0, you put realist at 5, and you put optimist at 10, I would say that I'm like a 3. Right, where it's like, I don't really expect anything to happen, and I don't expect to be famous or blow up or have a record deal or anything like that. But if it does happen, then that 3 automatically, I'm like, holy crap! Like I can't process it. It's amazing, incredible. And the thing is like, like you said, bar musicians, the insanity. I think it's insanity is the definition here. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Yeah.
Perhaps there's a different term for that, but regardless,
I am really good at smashing my head against the wall.
Yes.
Well, same. And I do it when I write, man, because I'm like, why am I not smarter? Why can I not have these better, lines? And
so that's not just a me
you.
thing. Okay,
It's everybody.
All right. I just want to make
it's
sure.
Everybody. But and the thing is, dudes, I don't look at it as like I'm better than everybody. I just look at it as like, look, man, we're in a leather jacket, slit throat kind of gang. Like maybe not that violent. For me it is, but for everybody else it's like, I want to help these musicians. Like I just came from a gig, like coming here, which I was late, everybody. You don't know this, but I was late. I just came from a show, man, and we had like a little showcase between me and this guy named Seth Dukes, incredible songwriter. Seth Dukes and Cameron Wheaton. He's a young upcoming artist, and he's like, all of 15 or 16. TJ
really?
Brown, which I've explained before, is amazing.
Yeah.
He's taken him under his wing, and I show Cameron, who's like the young kid, I show him like these photos of me and TJ back when I was 15 or 16, and I was playing these bars, and I was like, this is the way to go, bro, if you're trying to get there, And it's like, now I feel like I am the TJ is. I'm not gonna say he's. I'm not gonna say he's old.
He's the elder statesman.
He's the elder statesman. I am in the forefront spotlight right now, and then you have this younger generation coming in. And what I want to do is I want to build Sam's Town Records or whatever it is, and I want that to be like a videography company, a label, a booking agency, and everything. And I want to take in these young artists, and I want to build them and make them artists. And I want to like make sure they're good. So when they sign to fucking Warner Brothers or Atlantic, they are like premium.
That's a very Motown thing to do.
For sure.
Because that's what Motown used to do.
Right.
Was they would bring these guys in off the street who'd never fucking been in a studio, and they would like build them and create their career. They'd take these incredible unknown talents and run them through their workshop. Hey, we're going to give you a makeover. We're going to give you a couple fucking hit songs. We're going to cut you a record.
Right.
And next thing you know, you got fucking Motown.
Of course. Of course, which was a huge label back in the day.
So to take a page from that book, is a hell of a fucking business model.
Of course. Well, and I don't necessarily, you mentioned Motown, but that's kind of the first time I've really even considered that, but I just look at it like I look at it like I don't want to be 70 playing Jimmy Buffett covers in the bar, and that's fine, like, if you want to do that, because you can make a lot of money doing it. Like, I know people that make a lot of money doing it, but the thing is, man, is like, I want to make music videos, and I want to bring up artists, and I want to have a label whenever they come to me, we're sitting at a table just like this, and we're having like a meeting, and we're being like, listen, boys, like, we got $100,000 deal right here, like, let's freaking do it. And it's like, I'm very like entrepreneurial in that sense, but in the same token, like, I want to blow up. I do, man. And I'm very conscious of my own artistry, but in the same token, not only do I want to help the other artists, but I want to build that as a business for myself. So therefore I can make, like, Jay-Z. Think about Jay-Z. Yeah. Jay-Z got Kanye West, man. Kanye West got Chance the Rapper. And then it's like, this thing is just like, I am not in the music business. I am in the empire business.
What if that's your thing, though? What if that's your calling? What if your calling is to put the other guys in the spotlight, but you're the guy just pushing them out there?
Well, here's what I would say.
How would you feel about that?
Here's how and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I want 5 to 8 years. Just, God, please, if you're even there, give me 5 to 8 years of being able to sell out the House of Blues in every state in America, and that's all I want. And then after that, I will sell records for other people. I will sell fucking peanuts. I don't care, but I just want those 5 to 8 years of being a fucking rock star. And then after that, I will go on to be like the label manager and the whatever. I'll own skyscrapers, man.
Yeah.
So I got a question. So you want to do all this
pull it. You got it?
Shit.
You lost
You
it.
got it?
You
You
dropped it.
lost it.
Drink that
I lost
energy
it.
drink. You're looking like you're starting to get a little tired over
He's
there.
a killer.
I'm looking out for you.
I'm
looking out for you.
I had it for a second.
But you know what? I mean, I think, clearly you have the talent to put yourself out there.
It's getting there.
But would you be comfortable in a role like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, and I've talked about this last time we were on here. My dad is a business owner, and I obviously I work for him, and so
he's a mason, isn't he?
Concrete, and
beautiful
masonry.
work. I saw the work he posted. He did
incredible.
That's a lost art.
It is,
you
man.
know?
It's a hard labor, but boy, is it awesome.
Yeah.
And I think about it, man, and I think about it as the quote unquote. My siblings aren't going to hear this, but I think about it as the golden child, and I think about I'm like, of any profession, man, if you can go in and do construction and build your own homes, and it's like you can, because my dad is working on his second home right now on his Georgia property.
Oh yeah,
and it's just like one day I hate to say this, as the golden child, it's like one day I might be in charge of all this, and these are concrete homes. These are homes that are fucking poured with walls full of concrete that'll never move unless you take a fucking rocking ball to them.
Hold on, I gotta ask you real quick. Like, you talk about like being like the
golden child,
the golden child,
golden boy.
Like how
Call me in the streets.
Like, how is that actually working for? Like, how does that happen?
How do your siblings feel about that? Do they know?
Well,
do they know?
Yeah,
you're
they
the golden
know.
child?
They can feel it. Well, my sister. I'll just very short and simple, honest. My sister never calls home, and my brother, he doesn't work. So it's like, if you can just go get up and go work a day job every day, then it's so easy. And I've said this so many times. I am so fortunate, and I hate this word. I am so fortunate and privileged to be part of a wealthier kind of family that all you have to do is get up and be a fucking man and swing the hammer and just go to work and you can have it.
Yeah.
You can have it. And the thing is, my dad, he's looking for somebody that's responsible, man. I've seen it in his business. He's going to be looking for someone responsible. Like, who's going to not trash this house? Who's going to take care of it? Who's going to wash this and do this and take care of this?
Right.
And it's me. And
So you're the guy that swings the hammer.
well, I'm the guy. Yeah, I got this
That's
golden tan, boy.
Look at them guns. Look at them guns there.
But I'm telling you, man, it's like if you and it's something that every American has to deal with. Everybody. I mean, not even every American. Everybody. They have to get up and go to fucking work. You have to accept responsibility. And you have to do what makes you a fucking man and do it.
I agree.
You know.
I agree. I think that's lost on a lot of folks. You know?
I think it absolutely is, man.
Getting up every day and just getting in there, putting the time in.
Well, the lyrics are better and the beer tastes awesome.
There you go.
And that's the ticket.
That's it. That's it.
Know? Can I sing you a song?
Absolutely, man? Absolutely. Sing a song. I'm gonna.
Who wants to hear Houston Keen sing a song?
Sing a song, you know.
Let's do that. Let's bring out the guitar here. I'm gonna. That sounds nice.
Oh
awesome,
yeah,
sounds
man.
nice.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Do that. I'm gonna step right over there and take a piss while you start playing. So
I love the honesty.
I'm gonna sit right here and talk about it.
That's dope, man. So this is I wrote this song. Like I said, this is part of the new record, the part of the summer EP or whatever. These 5 songs, and this is the second track. But I think this will be the single. And anyway, I kind of wrote this in a night, and I had this line called "Words for the Weekend," and
I am very excited about
I had words
this.
for the weekend, and that's the only line I had. And I had a few other pieces, and basically I just kind of I put them together. But man, this is one of my favorite songs that I've written, and it's a anyway, it's off the new song, off the new record. So this is called Words.
You look really pretty.
You know, I look super tense. Whatever.
Yeah.
Chicks love it. Anyway, so this is a single of mine called "Words for the Weekend." Well, I got words for the weekend, and I got plans for you and I. And if that's something that you're into, I'll be right back. Well, I know some girls who all along just wanted to be a song, but couldn't care less about being alone with me. And I've got the words to fall asleep in a poet's dream, to make you think I know what I mean when I say I love you. Yeah! Yeah! You can stick those pretty teeth into me. I don't mind a bit if I need to bleed for you. Wanna ditch this place and find my car and go get high and talk to the stars. 'Cause I got words for the weekend, and I got plans for you and I. And if that's something that you're into, I'll be right back. Well, I know you will. A bloody nose and cigarettes, so typical among your friends. I guess it's easy. And I always fall for alibis and sweet mistakes. Pretty girls are turn into snakes most every time. You can rip these nerves right off my bones if that just means I won't feel alone again. Wanna ditch this place and find my car and go get high and talk to the stars. 'Cause I got words for the weekend, and I got plans for you and I. And if that's something that you're into, I'll be right back. So that's off the new record. That's called Words for the Weekend. I'm hoping that'll be a single, man. That'll be dope.
You said Works for the Weekend?
Words for the Weekend.
Words for the Weekend by Houston Key.
I don't slur so bad.
Hey, that was cool, man.
In the studio, I promise clarity.
That was so good.
Thanks,
like
man.
That was awesome.
The sound was so clean. Like that was amazing.
So
how did you fucking do that?
Like I said, that the whole EP, the 5 songs were written within a span of like 2 months. So after Jenny, I have a notebook or whatever, which I recommend to all songwriters is that you have a notebook. Is that like after I got done with Jenny and I kind of had these certain lines, about cigarettes and fire and all this other stuff. Because Jenny, if you listen to it throughout, it's a very conceptual album and it has these very certain themes to it that Jenny implements. And so basically, anyway, I was kind of done with that. And so after I got done with Jenny and it was released, I had all these lines that were kind of like not part of that. And so I was kind of like, man, I really love certain lines in this and I really would like to include them. Like I have in that song in particular, there's a line where it's like well, I know you well, a bloody nose and cigarettes, it's so typical among your friends, I guess it's easy. And that's basically just kind of saying like cocaine and cigarettes are like among her friends, and I guess it's just easy to live that lifestyle. And so, when I wrote that, I was like, that was just one line that sat there for like a month and a half. And then when I was able to put it in, I was like, oh, it totally gets that. I'm trying to plan a date with this girl who obviously has a lot of problems, and I'm trying to get her away from all that. And I'm just like, I got words for the weekend. I got plans for you and I, whatever it may be. And
see, that's what I love, man. You have so much thought into your songs. Like you don't like. As a singer who's written a lot of fucking lyrics over the years, I can tell you that there's a shit ton of songs that I have that have zero meaning, but the words sounded fucking cool together. Yeah, and every fucking time I talk to you, man, you throw down some song and start talking about the lyrics and the backstory to it and how you came up with it, and it all ties together, and there's this conceptual. I fucking love that because it's like there's just like a bigger fucking purpose. It's not just like you're not just throwing down some blasé bullshit line. Like you are really putting in thought to each and every word that you say. That is what I'm talking about when I say you're just different level. Like you're just next level shit. Because that's not a common thing.
I have to agree with Nick on all of that. I mean, like that was like. I mean, I listened to like a lot of your stuff like on YouTube and stuff like that, like before like coming on and talking to you.
Thanks, man.
And I thought it was really good and it was awesome.
My challenge for you is to say the next sentence without saying the word like. If you could do that.
You know what I'm saying? Like.
Do it.
Well,
shit!
I mean.
I love it.
All right, so, but no, like. Oh, my God, I did it again.
You're going to notice it now every time you say it.
Am I really?
You just said it like every other
third word.
You
just said it. I'm sorry. Anyway.
Anyway. So, listen to you right now just playing live. It was like.
There we go.
But no, it was really amazing, and it was awesome, man. It sounded great.
It's getting there, man.
I almost did it. I almost did it.
It's getting there.
It does. It sounds great, but I really do mean that. I mean, just one dude to another, one songwriter to another, whatever you want to say, however you want to phrase it. What you're doing, there's
just so you know, I'm not a songwriter.
You can just tell that there's more that goes into it. That there's more behind the scenes. That there's really something. There's some substance there, and I'm sure you know as well as I do that the substance in music today is, in general, is few and far between. I mean, that's one of the biggest complaints. A lot of people say, "Oh, there's no soul in it," but what you have is you're putting out music with soul because there is some shit behind it. There's emotion, there's feeling, there's thought behind it, and that's I think is important. And it's a lost fucking art in a lot of ways. So
I think
keep up the good work.
And you, Mr. Houston Keen, like you are definitely at the top of the charts.
It's getting there, man. It's getting
Getting
there.
there.
It's a work in progress.
Cheers.
It's cheers to that, work in progress. You know, and I try not to overthink it. But the thing is like I do care a lot about songs, and and the thing is like I care a lot about other people's songs. Like when and a lot of people. Here's the thing, man, and if anybody that knows me personally knows that I really try not to boast about the guitar or the singing thing. And I was a guitar player much before I was a singer, so I'm much more of a guitar player than I am a singer. But the thing is like I've worked a lot to get those things together as an artist. But
Right.
but regardless of being a guitar player or a singer, those are all performance things, and that's great to be a great performer and be able to talk to the crowd and do all this bullshit. But the thing is like what I respect is a songwriter, and that's why I love like people like Bob Dylan, who necessarily couldn't sing or maybe even perform that well or play guitar that well, but in the songs, I mean the songs we're still singing them today, like the protest songs or they're like whatever songs they are, it's like we're still singing them today, and there's something so vital about that, and I think that's why local songwriters sometimes come to me and they're kind of like, hey man, I'd love to write with you because you seem to have a certain tactic to it. Now, unfortunately, I'm terrible at co-writing. I'm very very selfish with my words.
Hey,
I'm very
I understand
selfish
that.
with keeping what I want, and I normally just lock myself in the dark and write what I do. But and I'm very excited that you guys brought this up, and we'll get into it maybe now or later. But regardless, it's a new record. So I'm so sorry. So this new record. So we have Jenny. Just to kind of take you guys back through the timeline. We have Jenny. We have The Party. We have In the Dark, which is the new single dropping on the 19th. We're very excited about
The
that.
Party,
Beautiful
by the
song.
way, love The Party.
Oh, thanks, man.
Love the I love the
Beautiful.
line about using your front pocket for
To the
cigarettes.
cigarettes.
I just, again, imagery. Like I can
Thank you.
see that, and it helps.
And that's what we use for the
I
album
mean,
cover.
you use
even.
it for the album cover,
Yeah.
but I mean, I can see that playing out in my head.
Right.
And that's I'm fascinated by that. I'm fascinated when somebody tells a story and they tell it so well that I can see it. That I think is the secret to storytelling. You're painting the picture.
Yeah.
And you paint the fucking picture.
Well,
So,
thank you, man. I'm a huge fan of Bruce Springsteen records.
Oh
which
man, who isn't?
And
You gotta love
You gotta
Springsteen.
find some Bob Seger fans out there. Anyway, I'm sorry. I love Bob Seger too. No hate.
I love Bob Seger. I'm
Anyway.
from Michigan.
Of course,
Detroit.
You got to. But and from the get-go, I was always writing songs that were super wordy. Like if you listen to any of my songs, they're very wordy. They're very like full of shit. Like because I don't. Not, and it's a fact. I've gotten better at singing, but when I first started out songwriting, I couldn't really sing that well. So, like, what I would do instead of like, I would kind of like, and I would really try to fill up the space with words. And I think that's what made me kind of so lyrical in the wordy way. But in the same token, some people have told me like, man, if you could just lay back a little bit, it would be incredible. And I'm like, you're right. And so I've tried to pull back a little bit, but in the same truth. It's like Bruce Springsteen, Thunder Road. Like, okay, like just to give an idea, the beginning lyrics, in Thunder Road are so wordy, and it's like, I mean, the whole thing is just like this imagery, like you're reading a book, and that's what I love about it, and like it's funny because when I listen to my songs, this sounds so cocky. When I listen to my songs, I can already kind of plan out a music video because I'm kind of like, oh, I know what goes here. Like I saw it in my head.
That's great because, like I listen to my shit. And because we're working on putting some stuff online and all that sort of stuff. And I listened to it the other day, some of the old recordings I haven't heard in a few years. And, I'm thinking just the exact opposite. I'm like, man, I'd love to make a music video for this, but there's nothing that really jumps out at me and grabs me and says, this is where we would go with it. This is the story we would tell with it.
Totally.
And,
well,
that's my own fault. There's a couple that have that ability, but definitely several of them that there's not really much direction
for sure.
And I think again that's a testament to you sort of have this ability to see the long
vision,
term. That you have the entire package for a song in your vision at some point.
Right.
And that's an art form in itself.
Well, I appreciate that. I just I have always been a guy that I don't necessarily see colors or anything when I play music, but I feel as though when I close my eyes and I'm playing something, I can see like a movie.
Yeah.
Like I can see something like cinematic happening, and I just that's kind of how I write, because what I want my shit to be, I want it to be dramatic, and like not only that, to be full disclosure, I read all the recent songs have been about my ex-girlfriend, but the thing is, like, my goal,
Jenny, right?
Well, sure, yeah, and the thing is like I just aim to tear them apart, and it's not like I mean anything towards them actually, even personally. It's just like, you know what's funny actually, and I haven't seen The Last Dance, but Michael Jordan just came out with that documentary, The Last Dance,
10-part documentary. I did watch it.
Did you? Is it
it's worth the
it's
watch.
Great. I have to watch
I'll
it.
tell you
Is that
what.
on
I haven't
Netflix?
seen it.
It's on ESPN Plus.
Okay.
Or ESPN.
I watched. I'm a huge athlete fan. I love their mentality. I love listening to interviews. I love kind of like that. It gets me hyped. It really does. And the thing is like, so I was listening to part of that Last Dance thing, and God damn it, I forgot.
It made me remember how much I loved basketball,
Oh,
which
yeah.
I had forgotten all about, because growing up in Flint, in
Michigan.
Flint, Michigan, outskirts, Swartz Creek, all those
Right.
little towns, my team was the Pistons. The Detroit Pistons,
Yeah.
Isaiah Thomas, Joe Duma. So
yeah.
I was in the fuck Michael Jordan camp.
Okay.
I was on Team Bad Boys. The Pistons, they went back-to-back and won the championship. Everybody in Michigan fucking loved it. I had a T-shirt that had the rings on it and said back-to-back Bad Boys, all that
Hey.
stuff. And watching the Last Dance with and just listening to Michael talk about the animosity between the Bulls and the Pistons and all that sort of stuff brought me the fuck back to being a child in 80s, 88, 89, being in Michigan as a kid and all that stuff, and just remembering how much I loved watching that game at the time.
Yes.
It was really the first sport that I think I ever really took interest in from a spectator standpoint.
See, for
And,
me,
loved it.
For me, it was I remember when like Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and all those guys.
Dennis
like,
Rodman. You talking about the first
Yeah.
3 or the second 3?
we're
Because we had Rodman in Detroit for the couple years that they won when the back to back. But
I'm talking about when
yeah, Pippen and all those guys.
No, when Jordan's dad died,
Oh yeah,
and they ended up winning.
yeah, they did.
Everything.
I mean, the story overall. I mean, that's
And then there was like that video of Jordan like laying on the ground
yeah.
in the stands just
Yeah.
crying.
Well, the what I took away from that show, from that series, from the 10 fucking hours that I gave of my life to that, was that guy really is the greatest ever. There's comparison between him and LeBron and all that
Absolutely.
stuff, and I understand the comparison, but after watching that and being reminded,
Yep.
there is no comparison.
Let me tell you something, man.
There's no
Michael
comparison.
Jordan, I'm going to say it, Houston Keen's quote right here. Michael Jordan is a motherfucking alien.
Michael Jordan is a motherfucking alien.
He can do it.
That's going to be in the show notes.
That's right.
Is Michael Jordan is a motherfucking alien.
You reminded me of what I was going to say. I was watching
And
a
if
preview.
Houston Keen says it, that means it's
Hold on,
real.
don't make him lose the thought.
No, you're good. I was watching a preview of that, and he was talking about, he's like, Michael Jordan would make up scenarios in his
Yes.
head, like why
Yes.
he's gonna fuck someone up.
Yes.
And that's what I think, man. I know Nick follows me kind of on Instagram or whatever. I always post these videos of the speed bag thing, right? And I'm really trying to just.
Oh,
I'm not.
you're all about that fucking thing.
I'm not a boxer, but I love the speed bag. It's just something about the discipline of being able to go and it's just something about that
How
discipline.
long did it take you to get that fucking good, though?
I'm not that good.
You're fucking you, dude.
not
You
that
you
good.
you start just. I'm like so uncoordinated.
I'm not that
I
good.
can't even pretend,
Dude,
dude.
I just looked like a fucking idiot.
I went-
just now.
Is Houston gonna join us with the Murph challenge?
I don't know. We should talk about that.
Fight Club?
We'll,
No,
we'll talk.
It's the Nerf challenge.
The Murph challenge.
The Murph challenge. I'm sorry.
So the Murph challenge is every year on Memorial Day in honor of Mike Murphy. And
Okay.
forgive me, I got to do a little bit more research in it because I really hate just saying Mike Murphy. He was a Navy SEAL.
Okay.
You ever see the movie Lone Survivor? with
Heard of it.
Marcus Luttrell's story where basically he was the only one who made it out. Well, Mike Murphy in that movie is a guy who runs down into this gully and knows he's going to get shot and killed, but it's the only way that he can get a radio signal out for his guys. So he takes that and sacrifices himself. Every year on Memorial Day, they hold what is now referred to as the Murph. And it's a challenge in honor of Mike Murphy because what he did was every day he ran a mile. He did 100 sit-ups, 200 pull-ups, and 300 squats, ran another mile, all while wearing a 20-pound vest. Whoa. So here in Porchville, we have committed to next year taking on the Murph Challenge. And Daniel Biddle joined.
Yep.
Not David Battle.
Not
Daniel
David
Biddle.
Battle. David Battle actually was totally not with
No,
it.
David Battle was like, fuck you,
Yeah.
Porchville. But Daniel Biddle was all about it.
Yeah, David Battle. No, David
last week's
Biddle.
guest, Brandon Dukes Green, who was fantastic.
Yeah,
he also said that, fuck that. But Joe, our frequent guest, Joe is with us. All the girls are with us. You're in. Sorry to tell you, brother. You're just in by association. So, think about it. Next Memorial Day, if you want to run around in a 20-pound vest,
come on,
a couple miles, let us know.
I'd love it.
Hey,
trying to get ripped.
Yeah, we're t-shirts and the whole fight. In a couple weeks, we're trying to bring on the gym teacher that Courtney goes to her gym, and they put on the Murph Challenge this year. So we're gonna try to hold our feet to the fire.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say this straight up. She's kind of hot.
Bro, are you gonna chub right now?
Is that your phone going off?
That is my phone.
Turn the goddamn volume down.
Phone off.
Fucking wacky bastard.
Damn.
I'm on.
The most phone addicted person.
It's a group text.
Turn it down.
It's about my
group text.
It's about my dad.
Is it Carl? Is Carl in there?
Carl isn't there.
Do you need to call a lifeline?
Tell Carl that Porchville says hello. Hi, Carl.
No, I'm just gonna mute it.
So tell me more about the summer EP. Like what else can we expect from all this?
Of course. In fact, I do want to play a song very shortly. But
the
thing is, so in working in the timeline of it, we have Jenny, we have the party, which just very quickly going back to the party. By the way,
this is Friday, right?
Yes.
It's Friday. I'm off tomorrow. It's beautiful. The thing is, man, is like when you listen to Jenny or you listen to Badlands or whatever it is, the Jenny record, and I hate to break anyone's heart that's listening to this, but those were not real drums. Those were all keyboard drums or they were electronic drum pads.
Really?
Yeah, and they sound incredible, right?
Wow.
Stan Martell. He's incredible.
Wow. Stan didn't get behind the kit himself and just work that shit out.
He worked the electric kit, but it wasn't a real
Stan,
kit.
I am disappointed.
Well, he fooled you.
He did.
Fooled a lot of people.
He did. Up until now.
So the thing is,
Pull back the veil.
with the party and In the Dark, which are the two new singles, I've been working with this cat, Logan Fisher, who I was going to bring on the podcast, but so this cat is a murderer when it comes to the drums, and I never realized what real drums bring into the sonic frequency of it. When in fact, if you listen to the party, it has a drum solo, because it was the first time I had real drums, and I was like, listen, bro, I want you to fucking go ham, bro, like on this middle part, like I want you to just tear it up. And dude, he fucking did a drum solo, and it's incredible. And there's this last little hit, and it was like pop. And it was like, girl at the party last night, whatever. And so, like, dude, it just makes the song click. And In the Dark is like this really, it's a 5-minute ballad. Like, it's a very risky thing to release as a single, but it's like this beautiful 5-minute ballad. And dude, the drums just sound like a shotgun going off on the snare. It's remarkable. And so anyway.
And you really called him bro the entire time.
Bro, dude, homie. whatever.
What kind of reaction have you had? Because I know a big deal for you was the Spotify and stuff like that. The hits you were getting.
Right.
How has that been looking?
It's been looking good, man. It seems like ever since this pandemic, it's actually picked up quite a bit, which is strange. I guess people are just staying home and listening to music,
which
is fine, man. It's so strange to me to like last week. I literally posted this on Instagram today or yesterday or something, and it was like I'm getting 1,000 streams a day on Apple Music.
Oh shit!
Which I was kind of like, that's like I'm not popular.
1,000.
I'm not popular to have 1,000 streams. Like, it's not a day, I'm sorry, it's a week. But still, regardless, it's like 1,000 streams a week. Like, I'm not popular enough to have, like, that. Like, I'm not anybody. Like, and so...
No, but you don't think, but here you are with 1,000 streams a week.
Well, it's happening, right?
Yeah.
And so it's strange to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like, once again, going back to the music
You're
video,
still living in the normal Houston,
side.
Keene. This
Right.
is, I grew up and, I'm
Whatever.
a normal fucking person.
Right.
You haven't evolved
I haven't graduated
your
yet.
mind into that, like, I am somebody that 1,000 people every week are
I just
actually
don't want
listening
to.
to.
I don't want to.
Oh yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with that.
I just want to be this guy that hangs out. And
Yeah.
Why would you not want to be
But
that
there's
guy?
well because I think people are a little weirded out by that change, that evolving into this this person that
what I feel
1,000
like
people a week are listening to.
I just
what I think, like,
No.
I kind of want to interject here, like why, like if you're gonna get 1,000 people to listen to you, like why would you not?
I think you're
want
taking
that
it
to
too
happen?
literal. I think you're taking it too literal. It's not that he doesn't want them to happen. It's not that he doesn't want them to hear it. It's just it's a different, like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I've always described the person I am that plays music as just like almost like a different person.
Of course.
And there was a song. There's a song by Hinder back in the day when Austin Winkler was. Is it Austin? Yeah, Austin Winkler.
I couldn't tell you.
Was singing for him, the original singer, and they had a song and it was called "Waking Up the Devil."
Okay.
And there was a line in there about when he gets out, we're one hell of a team.
I love
and
it.
every time I hear that, it makes me think of before I'd get out there on the stage, before I'd get up and do a show. There was almost like this shift of
course.
All
Personality.
right, yeah, and because the guy on stage, man, that guy was an asshole.
Well,
I love him. He's a fucking asshole, though.
But he can get the job done.
But he gets the job done
Yep.
every time.
Yep.
He gets the crowd right there in the palm
Fucking
of his
right.
hand.
Fucking right.
He likes to show
Well,
people his balls too. But
I
that's a
love
different
it.
Story,
Hey, man,
you
come
know?
out dick swinging.
I don't
love
get it, but
I love it. No, and I'm the same way, man. And there's two examples of this. I actually had a conversation with someone earlier about how I was like, I actually said in the conversation in the text, I was like, I feel like I have multiple personality disorder, because what it is like, there's me, who my real name is Houston Keene, and a lot of people question that. They're like, is your real name Houston Keene, or is that a stage name? Because that's a hell of a stage name. And they're like, no, it's my real name. Like, my parents gave it to me. But, my close friends, they call me Sam, like Sam Houston, the president of Texas.
Yeah.
And it's like, what that has done for me is it's kind of actually given a divide where it's like, hey, when I'm hanging out and we're all friends and we're drinking and we're having a great time, I'm Sam, man. I'm just hanging out or whatever. Now, when you get me on the subject of music, or maybe I'm on stage or whatever, I just start talking very fast. I start talking very loud. I'm very passionate.
Yeah.
I'm very like, I want to jump on this table and tell you guys like, hey man, I'm not here to save everybody. I don't want to say I'm a savior, but I'm just saying that I'm here to help. I'm here to bring new ideas and bring new innovation and bring new business, and like, I want to blow this team up. I want to blow everybody that's talented here. I just want to make it like fucking like an empire.
and that's why ultimately I feel like that's the way it's going to go.
Yeah.
Because I have never met you. I've never seen you when you haven't been just like on 10, like, I'm ready to fucking go. We are going to make something happen.
Right.
It might happen tonight, might happen tomorrow, but you're always ready, and you always know, hey, it's going to happen, because you're just that dude. You're going to keep fucking pushing, and that's the way it'd be.
And a lot of people get annoyed, but it's like it's like you guys, right? Like, I was so stoked for this podcast because in the same token, it's like I can come out here and I can express my ideas, and I can really talk about, and not only that, but I love to say fuck over a microphone. But the thing is, it's just like in the same token, I can.
Did you say fuck?
Fuck. The thing is, I have flashback
Well, and
there.
I love the fact. I mean, honestly, like full disclosure, when you reached out and you're like, "Hey, man, I got all this new shit going on. Like, you know, I'd love to come on Porchville and talk about it and all that stuff." I was like, "Yes,
cool.
Yes,
Well,
that is so amazing. I love that." Because, like you, I mean, we're trying to build something here. You know, I want people to be able to reach out and say, "Hey, I got this stuff going on. I'd love to come on, hang out with you guys, talk about it. We'll fucking knock some drinks back, we'll play some guitar, have a good fucking time." You know, I walk away with a show, you walk away with a show, you're able to turn around and, you know, direct people to listen to it, promote it, and all that shit, and give something that, you know, give something more than just what everybody's hearing in a song. You know,
right?
You need a little explanation behind it.
And
of course.
Did you also just say that your name is Sam?
Well, so my nickname, they call me Sam, some close friends, because of Sam Houston. So the story behind that, which I might have explained before on the first podcast, but the story behind that is I have a song called Sam I Am, and that song was born out of, I used to work at a pawn shop, and there was this old man Dave, and he's still kicking, man, but he's old as hell, and he couldn't remember my name was Houston. He called me Austin, Dallas, Corpus Christi, asshole, douchebag. There's a bunch of names I had, and anyway,
whatever works.
yeah, and eventually he's like, "Damn it, kid, I'm gonna call you Sam," and I was like, "Sam," and he's like, "Yeah, Sam Houston, you know, the president of Texas," and I was like, "All right, hell yeah, bro," and so I ended up getting Sam, and so people call me Sam and Sammy and everything like that, and then I made this song called Sam I Am, and that's like my alter ego. That's like kind of like what you said when you step on stage. Like when I step on stage, I'm Houston Keen.
Yeah.
But when I'm chilling, I'm just like Sam. You know, I'm just like, I would like to watch John Hughes 80s movies, and I like to just eat popcorn.
But also, wasn't there a correlation with your last name in moving to Austin that people thought you were?
Right. Well, a lot of people thought I moved to Houston because my name is Houston, but I moved to Austin, a music capital of the world.
Right.
And so Houston moved to Austin, and I have had a lot of for those that have known me for a long time, I've had quite a lot of controversy with the name Austin. In fact, I wrote this song back in high school called "Texas Ain't Big Enough," and it was directed towards this guy named Austin, and it's a long story that I'm not going to get into, but regardless,
that's next time.
That's next time.
Next time, I want to hear that one.
Sure, it's wild. I'll have to learn the song again. But regardless, when I moved to Austin, you know, and I moved to Austin after getting signed to a booking deal where they were going to secure me work where I didn't have to work a day job. And so I was like, hell yeah. And, you know, what's great about that, going to Austin and living off of music, is that you learn that, hey, man, you better fucking be good or you're not bringing home the bacon. Right. You're not going to eat this week.
Yep.
So it's like I've really kind of learned how to sell the crowd, or how to interact, and how to make tips, and how to do this, and how to bring in whatever. And it's like that really helped me, because like even tonight with the show, like in Florida, here we are in Florida. In that show in Florida, you know, it's like I had people come up to me and they're like, "Man, I saw you before you moved to Austin, and now it's just like your voice is deeper, and like you've got this way about you." And I'm like, well, I don't recognize it, because I've been there every day to build it. Like I don't recognize the change.
You seem to me more authentic now than when I met you. Of course, you were 19, like you said,
right,
when I first met you.
Growing up.
And I mean, you know, you were still finding your way. And I just, now I get the sense like you come back, you know, and you're all grown up.
You know? 25, man.
It's like here you are, you're doing your thing, you're having a fucking blast, you know, and you just, like I said, there's an authenticity there in what you do and in your music and how you present it.
I do appreciate
that you can't buy.
I gotta say that this is the first time talk to.
Yeah. What's up, bro?
But
put that thing in front of your face. What are you doing?
Talk to it.
You
put it in front of your face.
Oh, you're moving it.
Yes.
Put it in your mouth.
Talking that fucking thing.
That's what she said.
Shit.
All right, so
I got a little something.
This is my first time actually talking to you, and I think that you sound great. Like your music sounds awesome. Like the way that you talk, it just sounds amazing. And
well,
I think it's awesome that you're on the show with us.
Well, man, I just feel I feel pretty honored to be here, but the thing is like here's the thing. I'm the first one to tell you I talk too loud and I talk too much. I do. Like when I get engaged in a conversation,
you don't talk
like,
too much. I talk too much.
Perhaps in this podcast it's appropriate, but in the
It's
same
perfect.
token, it is right. But in the same token, and I love that.
I got 2 hours to fill, and you're
I
a
love it.
talker.
Well,
are you fucking kidding me?
That's cool.
I've had podcasts on it where I've asked somebody a question, and they say, "Yeah."
Yeah, just joke around with it.
Well, great. How about
Yeah.
some elaboration?
Well,
you know?
right. And I catch myself at bars where maybe I'm having a drink or two, and it's like someone asks me about music, and I'm like, man, I'd really just, not even want to get into it because the truth is I'm going to start yelling. Like, I'm just going to be so passionate about it. And not to bring in, like, someone as crazy as Kanye West, but, I've read like a book. I read this book.
Yeah.
I read this book called Kanye West Owes Me $300, right? And it's about this white rapper that has been friends with Kanye like in the very beginning, and then it's like at the very end of it, Kanye asked to borrow $300, and he bought him a pizza, and him and Kanye hung out in the studio and ate a pizza. He gave him $300, and that was the last time he saw Kanye West before he blew up. And this was a book. Now, anyway, I think about those things. And I think about how passionate Kanye West is. And I know he's a fool, man. But in the same token, I'm the same way. I'm the same way where it's like, I want to build an empire. I want to fucking stand on tables. I want to have record labels. And I want to be like, hey, I'm the next fucking thing, man. Like, I'm here. Like, I'm so aggressive about it. And I don't expect to be Justin Bieber or some bullshit. But I'm just...
But those are the guys, excuse me, that actually get somewhere, that actually... get to that next level.
I want to see Houston be Justin Bieber. I want to see that.
I don't want to see that.
I don't want to be that popular.
I don't want to see that.
I don't. I want to be.
By the way, not to totally cut you off like I just did, but I will say since I saw you last, you turned me on to some Sturgill Simpson.
Love it.
And I've been listening to that shit a lot.
Love it.
And oh my God, I've got some stuff we're gonna talk about later.
Okay.
That you might like some stuff that I've found along the way. So
beautiful.
I think you're gonna like. You gonna play?
Sturgill's incredible.
You gonna play us a little something?
I will play. I'm sorry, everybody that's not watching. I just picked up this guitar. I just
here goes Houston Key.
I love Sturgill Simpson. So I wanted to get back to the point earlier about the lyricism.
Yeah.
So working in the this is actually a debut. This is the first time I've ever played this song kind of live because I haven't been able to play any shows. So this is the first time I've played this song live. In fact, I think the last time I was on this podcast, I played a song that was like the first time I've ever played it or some shit.
I think so.
Regardless, this is a
what
beautiful
do you
moment
got
for
for
this.
us here?
So we were talking about lyricism, and we were talking about, I think I go into a realm of I want to write something. I think I'm very conceptual whenever I go in to write a project. Like whenever I say like, okay, I'm writing the next record, this is what it's going to be. Like I have a big idea when I see it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so anyway, the song is the first song from the record. And I really haven't played it anywhere, but this next album is a lot about death.
Does it have a name yet?
It doesn't have a name yet.
Doesn't have a name. Unnamed by
Doesn't
Houston
have a name.
Keen.
Unnamed. This song is called I See Horror. I see horror? Not horrors. I see horror. I see horror.
I see horror.
I see horror. And anyway, I don't have a name for the record yet, but anyway, here we go.
Lay it on us.
I see horror and premonitions. I can spot fear underneath your skin. I can see blood and rain, the twisted hands of fate, sick, sick disasters on Austin interstates. And I believe dying isn't easy living. I can give up just enough to slip. I can take bitter girls and turn them against the world, but I only wanna get to you till you get what you deserve. dish it out, but damned if I can take it. And I said, baby, won't you come back home? Maybe we can make it. I see treason and revelations. I can draw blood, make it look naive. I can take pretty girls, turn them against the world. But I only wanna get to you till you get what you deserve. And I said, baby, can we put these clothes away and learn to make it? And I said, baby, won't you come back home and maybe we could make it? So that's the first track off the
Hell yeah.
record.
That was beautiful.
Thanks, man.
God damn.
I just feel
I like that.
I'm going in a really darker place.
Dude,
feels good.
that was
Sometimes you got to, though.
Feels good, man. Feels
Yeah.
good.
dude,
Yeah.
that was fucking beautiful.
Sometimes
That
the
was
darkness is just where
amazing.
it's at, you know? I mean, I don't think that I don't think a lot of people listen to guys like us to feel uplifted.
Right. Well,
I think
don't.
I think there's a sense of like
Well, there needs to be. There's okay. Well, there's sadness in the world,
Yeah.
of course, and people want to hear that, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they do, and
well, when they're sad, they want something they can identify with, they can feel, you know,
Yeah.
that when everything feels dark and feels lost, they want something that makes them feel like, oh, I can listen to this, I can identify with it, and it touches me in a certain way.
it helps me,
and it gives
helps
me
me.
that feeling.
yeah.
You know, in
Yeah.
a dark moment.
It helps me.
And that's
it helps me, and that's you know, and I don't necessarily write songs for people to feel better in dark times. I just write songs as a therapeutic
Yeah.
kind of thing. I'm gonna put the guitar away in just a
Yeah.
second, but I just want to play you one more. This is speaking of that. So you know, we were thinking about the dark tones of the record, and we were thinking about like, you know, so basically when I wrote Warmer Era, which I never got to the bottom of that discussion, but
we'll get back to that.
so the thing is like with going chronologically, we have Jenny, we have The Party, we have In the Dark, and then we have Warmer Era.
Yeah.
And Warmer Era was actually brought out of a Facebook comment where I was like, what should I name the next, you know, EP? What should I name it? Like, I just kind of threw it out there. I wasn't really taking it seriously. And I was like, maybe someone has something funny to say. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. Well, someone said Warmer Era, and I was like, holy shit. That's it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and I basically based it off of like a relationship. Like, we were living in a warmer era where it was like a more conducive, beautiful time between us, you know, and
Kind
that
of
was
like the honeymoon stage.
the honeymoon stage,
you know?
right? You know,
Maybe
and,
just post honeymoon
yeah,
stage.
even
but
if
where,
that lasts 5 years, you know,
Yeah,
it's whatever. And so anyway, like, so that was all part of the warmer era thing. Came out of that Facebook comment, which, by the way, homeboy, I will credit you later. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. My bad. But the thing is, I posted that and he commented warmer era, and
Yeah.
I was like, holy fucking shit, that's it.
You
That's
just
the
knew.
name.
You
got
just
it.
knew.
You got it.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was able to write the songs about that. So the song you just heard was from the second full-length album. So that is actually chronologically after Warmer Era.
Right.
So what you're
If I can actually interject
Go ahead, go
for
ahead.
just like 1 second, your voice is absolutely fucking phenomenal.
It's getting there, man.
That was like, I was listening to you and it was just like so good. Like it was amazing. So
He's
there, man.
amazed.
It's getting there. It's getting
He's
there.
amazed.
It's getting there.
So what are you going to give us next
So
year?
I just really quick. This is also the single that's going to be the leading single from the next record. after Warmer Era chronologically and all that other stuff. This is a song about the ending of a relationship, like right before it ends, whenever you start spending the night at other people's houses. Anyway, this is called Terrible Things, and I actually, not to get into this conversation at all, but I heard a philosopher say this, a professor at the University of Toronto, Jordan Peterson. He said that terrible things, happen one little thing at a time, and he was actually comparing that to like the Holocaust and how we could let people just die like that, and how it's like we never stood up and said anything about that. We just let it happen. Right. And the thing is those things happen one little bit at a time, one little law, one little break-in, one little whatever. And it relates very well to this time, obviously, but the thing is I wrote this from a relationship standpoint, but it basically it's about the end of a relationship, and it's coming. This is called Terrible Things. Honey, can we put these clothes away? Teach ourselves how to talk again like we used to. Maybe we could build back this home. I know we both hate sleeping alone like we never do. I wanna wrap you up like you're still mine, and that human touch we always find. And I know the terrible things happen, one little thing at a time. We could have been just fine. And I know that the hardest part is getting back where we started, with you and me and these terrible things. And honey, can we let the blood all dry? Save ourselves and these battered eyes from going blind. Maybe I could just forgive myself, put you up there on the shelf, right out of my mind. Wanna wrap you up like it's still right, and that human touch we always find. And I know terrible things happen, one little thing at a time. Could have been just fine. And I know that the hardest part is going back where we started, with you and me and these terrible things.
Houston Keen. Woo. Fuck yeah, man.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I appreciate you listening.
That is beautiful. I like it. I like it a lot, man. I'm telling you, that is just.
I'm getting there, man.
I love the fact that you have just like different concepts and all this shit laid out ahead of you. It's got to be, it's got to make it a little easier because you actually have goals going into it.
Right. Well,
so
I think full honest perspective is I work construction, and I work it 5 or 6 days a week, and the thing is I see people that struggle and work very, very, very harder than I do, and they make the same $400 or $500 a week, and that's great and all. But in the same token, it's like I look at it and I'm like, thank God that I learned how to play guitar when I was 12, or I was when I'm doing this, doing that, or whatever it is. Because like if I had to work a day job as my only means of living, I would be so depressed.
How hard was that to come back from Austin?
Right.
Get back here, try to get things going, and then all the music basically stops.
Yeah.
And now you're just doing construction.
Right.
What was that period of time before you really started having to figure new ideas out, trying out new things? How hard was that period of time where you were just, what the fuck? What's next? What happens next?
I realized that I'm not a diva. I realized that I'm not the shit. I realized that it's like look, man, I mean, when times are hard, maybe you need to go out and learn how to do like a man's job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
it's a great way of looking at it.
Yeah, and you know, I don't look at it as a bad thing. I look at it like it's really teaching me some moral lessons. Like, hey man, look, dude, a lot of people go out every day in America and they sweat their fucking ass off for $500 a week, and they go support a family of 2 or 3 doing that.
Yeah.
And that, you know, I don't understand that because I'm 25, I've never been married, I don't have kids.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I make a decent amount between music and concrete, and so it's like I feel very I don't take the circumstances I'm in for granted.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
that's the way to be, man.
Yeah, and I agree with that, you know, and I've also realized that a bunch of my friends are pussies. Because it's like I tell them, I'm like, dude, I just work a 12-hour day. Like, look how fucking tan I am. Like, I'm fucking cut up from concrete. I'm doing this. I'm fucking nailing boards. I'm getting yelled at. I'm doing all this shit. And they're just like, hey, man, like, I fucking had to sweep a floor today. And I'm like, fuck you. Fuck you. And it's just like, dude, you don't understand. And
Did you have to put your back into it?
Do.
The fuck out.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Man, you should never be ashamed of a hard day's work.
Hell yes. Hell yes.
When's the last time that your hand was cut up to the point where you actually thought that you needed like a tetanus shot?
Well, I got bit by a bat once. And,
what?
And that was it. Yeah, they gave me 15 fucking things in the stomach.
Oh, the shots, rabies shots, or
rabies
tetanus?
shot,
Were
the
the
rabies
rabies?
shot.
Oh
Rabies
my
shots.
god.
I was like, let me foam at the mouth. I don't give a
that
fuck.
sounds fucking terrible.
Well, it was
I was just trying to make a joke.
not a good idea to have a bat
I
as a
just
pet.
scratched my hand up, but
not a good idea to have a bat as a pet.
So when are you going to start a podcast?
Dude, you know what? I swear to God, every time I step in this little circle, I'm like, I got to do it.
Because, you know, my buddy AJ Wilkerson, he's a comedian. He's been on this podcast 2 or 3 times.
yeah, he just
Started a podcast. Story Time with Captain Autism.
What?
On Spotify.
No way.
Oh yeah. Well, he's very open about. He's very open. He's got autism. He found out late in life. You know, he medical marijuana. He manages very well. He was in the Army. All kinds of shit. Very funny dude. But he didn't really figure out, comedy until a little later. Like he's only been doing it. I think maybe a year and a half or so at this point. The guy's fucking hilarious. One of my favorite comedians. And just started a podcast. I told him last time he was here, man, you got to start it. It's so fucking easy. And I'm not going to say I'm responsible in any way for it.
No, you
but,
can.
But
because he told you.
He did say that I was.
He told
kind
you
of
straight
his,
up.
part of his inspiration for it.
I love it.
So I was very happy about that. So
hey, listen, you should not be ashamed of that because you might be starting something with me.
Hey,
and so it's like you can be the spawn of it.
I'm telling you, man. And dude, it's so easy. It's so there's no limits. You do whatever the fuck you want. There's nobody who can tell you, oh, this is what you have to do, or this is how you do it. Yeah. No, that's all bullshit.
I agree with you.
There's nobody that's going to tell you what to do. Just it's whatever you want to make. A friend of mine called me up the other day. He said, "Hey, I want to do a podcast. This is an idea that I had, and it was talking about like albums. It was like a weekly show that he was talking about doing, and each week highlighting a different #1 record from that date.
Okay.
So the date is always changing.
I love it.
And you've got, all the years to choose from, but just each time he puts out a podcast, oh, this album was #1 during this calendar week, but the years would fluctuate.
Totally.
So I thought it was fucking amazing.
I think that's great,
man.
like,
fuck yeah. Put it out. What are you waiting for? Why are you calling me? Why are you asking me? Just get out there and do it. It's amazing.
Do it.
So,
man,
I'm telling everybody to fucking do it.
Hey, Nick, I love that, dude, because I think that I could honestly, I have a desk like this.
Yeah.
And I could just set up some mics. I have mics.
Yep.
Obviously.
Of course.
And I could just do it.
I guarantee you probably have everything that I have here.
I probably do what I could do.
Seriously. You have everything I have here, minus the cool fucking signning.
You're damn right.
But that's
these
about
neon
it.
signs.
Yeah. We got the banner over there.
I love it.
That people may have seen on Porchville Pod at Facebook.com.
It's a hell of a logo.
And, it's cool. We're having fun.
I think
man.
what you're doing is great, man. And that's why I hit you up, because I was like, dude, I got some press that I need to get out, and I know the perfect.
And I love it. I love that. I love that you reached out to us for that.
Oh, fucking right,
because it's fucking awesome.
There's also a Matt that is willing to help you out with whatever you need.
He is this guy is the #1 hype man. I'll tell you what. I played shows in Gainesville. Anytime we played shows in Gainesville, Matt would come out and was right down front and would just whip the fucking crowd into a frenzy every time. It was fantastic.
Love it.
You want a dancer?
That's your guy.
Show me your titties.
Do you get a lot of that at shows? Because I got it once. One time. I got it once. I got it one time. Did you get it?
I listen, man. I'm working on a new girlfriend. I can't talk about that.
Oh,
I can't talk about that.
Cover your ears.
It's all good.
Tell us.
Listen, man. All I'm gonna say is I get a lot of attention.
Is the new girl's name Jenny?
Her name is not Jenny. It's Cassie though. But here's the thing, dude. If you have Cassie Keene, like how cool is that?
Cassie Keene.
Yeah. Hopefully she doesn't hear this and get freaked out because we haven't even gone. We haven't even gone on the first date.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So
we'll edit this out later.
We gotta edit that later.
Edit it.
I would love to see
Cassie. He said he loves you.
She's cute, man. She's cute. I'm not gonna deny that.
I predicted last time you were here that you would marry a woman named Jenny. That was it.
You know, I don't know if I mentioned it last time, but I thought about doing like a Forrest Gump B-sides that were going to be songs that didn't make it, and I was going to dress up like Forrest Gump on the bench, and I was going to take the photo. Anyway, that didn't happen, but regardless, it would have been a funny thing because Jenny, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, Jenny, you know, the thing about Jenny is like I came up with that name I've never dated a Jenny. I've never even really, I know one Jenny, and she's a super sweet girl. And she spells her name that way, Jenny. And I've met a lot of Jennies that are Ginny or whatever it is.
Yep.
But you know the thing is, I'm kind of friends with this one Jenny or whatever, and it's something about like when I came up with that name, I was like, there's a certain like sex appeal to it. Like there's something sharp about it, and I love it, and that's what I came up with. So. Well,
and I loved it because when you were here last time, I asked you about, you know, the ex-girlfriend thing, and you said you got in trouble a few times, so you used the name Jenny to embody them all.
Absolutely,
you know?
And I'm glad you remember that.
And that's why I'm certain that I mean, unless Cassie's really amazing.
Yeah, you know, it's whatever.
You know,
it is what it is.
It's going to be a girl named Jenny. I'm standing by that.
I don't know. I'm 20. I'm young. I'm young.
Yeah,
I'm young.
Maybe the second or third wife. You know, you never know. She'll be in there somewhere.
That's the truth. Yeah, my dad has never had good luck with wives, so I'm probably going to be the same. I'm a musician. You were cursed.
You're a musician. Yeah, exactly. You know, what does Steve Perry say about? I don't fucking know
either.
I've been drinking
but
too much whiskey.
I'm sure Steve Perry has had plenty of wives.
He says something about Steve Perry from Journey.
From Journey.
Who
is the lead singer of Aerosmith? I'm too
Steven
drunk.
Tyler.
Thank you.
Steven Tyler.
Thank you. Yeah, you know, and it's like I hear stories about like Mick Jagger, and how he's like slept with not only like 600 women but like 500 men or something. And I'm like, goddamn.
Also,
dude, like,
David Bowie.
You're fucking everything. And I'm like, dude, I can't be that, but I'll just, you know, it's
basically anything with a hole.
Being a musician, you got a lot to live up to.
The older I get, the more I respect old school romanticism.
Yeah.
I love JFK and Marilyn Monroe.
Why them specifically?
Well, I just think that they embody full. I mean, don't get me wrong. Jackie Kennedy was part of it because he's married to her. But the thing is, like, you got to know that JFK and Marilyn Monroe had a fuck tunnel or some shit.
Oh yeah,
you know
I'm sure.
Yeah, whatever.
They had like a direct fucking door-to-door thing.
What's great about that, and I've talked to a friend about this, is that it's like that. It's like the angel and devil on your shoulder. It's like, I shouldn't do this, but it's so fucking hot to do it.
But it's Marilyn Monroe.
And that's what I love about it. Is it's like I just strive for that like old school romanticism where it's like it's just drive-in movies and it's deep conversations at 3 a.m. and it's not this fucking OnlyFans nude bullshit. This bullshit that's going on.
I think people are turning that tide though. Like stuff like this, for instance. People are sitting there listening to us just talk.
Okay.
in a lot of ways, they're being a part of that conversation.
Of course.
You know, they're not sitting there like when I listen to a podcast like this. If I'm sitting there listening to Rogan or something,
Yeah.
I sit down on the fucking porch. I grab a drink. I'm just kicked back, relaxing, maybe laying in the hammock. You know, I'm just enjoying the conversation as it is. That stripped down, raw, organic. Just two people looking each other in the eye, having a good, educational, interesting, in-depth conversation, just like we're doing right here.
Yeah.
And more people are listening to stuff like this because they're not getting that somewhere. You know, there's everything's so, everything's digital, everything's just quick little blurbs and
dry
TikTok and all that shit and Snapchat and everything and 30 seconds later and the fucking picture's gone forever. And this right now we've been sitting here for an hour and 40 minutes.
Whoa.
Anybody who is still
machine.
sitting there has been sitting here listening to us for an hour and 40 minutes ramble on about
whatever
life's greatest fucking mysteries to us.
Of course.
That's
and
awesome.
I love it.
I love that.
And I do agree with you. I think that the tide is turning. Now, what's funny as you bring this up is I've actually kind of gone into this in-depth thing of there's this new show on Hulu or some shit. It's Miss America, and it's talking about women's liberation back in the early 60s or whatever. And there's this woman, Phyllis Schlafly. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but and she speaks on a lot of political topics, and she's a lawyer, man. She fucking knows this shit. Like, she's very smart. Yeah. And and I feel like there's a great divide. I feel like when I was younger, for example, the song Church Girls, if for anybody out there that's listening that has listened to that song, I sing this song called Church Girls, and it's like church girls get married by 21 with a white dress wedding in the town that they're from. And what I've come to realize as an older man now...
Again, the vivid imagery.
Well...
Sorry, go ahead.
You're not really an older man now.
Well, I wrote that when I was 20 or 21,
but that's
right?
a great... I can see it. Again, like we were talking about, I can see that...
Well, right, and it happens.
It
happens.
Yeah.
And it's something that's very common. It's a stereotype.
Yeah.
And the thing is that a lot of women do fall into that. Now, I wrote that when I was 20 or 21, and the thing is that I wrote that from the perspective of someone that didn't really want to be married, or someone that didn't believe in true love, or someone that didn't believe in like what a marriage could be or anything. Now, as a 25-year-old, I look at it and I go, you know what? I could be a daddy. Like, I could. Like, I see it. Like, I could raise a son. Like, I feel like older and I feel more mature about it. And that's not a bad thing. I think that's great. And it's not that I shun songs like Church Girls, but it's I look at those songs as, oh, that was 21-year-old Houston. Yeah. And now, I look at 25 and I'm like, you know what? Like, I want to write a song for my wife. I want to write a song like for my kids.
Dude, I was your age when my wife, my now wife, and I decided to embark upon the journey of having a child.
Childhood. That's a big step.
And I mean, I was 25. I had him when I was 26. Mm-hmm. No, it was the year I turned 26. I was 25. But yeah, I mean, I remember that. And that was a while ago, for me. But yeah, I was your age when I turned around and I said, "All right, let's do this." But that was also a big moment in my life where I said, "Okay, I'm not going to be on the road, Mr. Musician anymore.
Yep.
I'm committing to doing this family thing."
That's hey man, and, I commend you for that.
So is that a thing that you're interested in?
Well, here's how I feel, man. I feel as somebody that's going to turn 26 in November, I feel as though I'm not ready for a kid, but if I was married at 28, I would feel okay about it. Like, as someone that is totally...
What's the difference to you between 26 and 28?
Well, I just feel as though, and I've said this before to literally the boss man at the Concrete Crew, not my dad, but the guy who runs the VP, Dick Cheney. I've said this. I said, look, I'm going to know if my career works out within the next 5 years.
Yeah.
If I'm not blowing up by 30 or 31, it's over. Like, and that's not a discouraging thing. It's just that I have to be realistic with it. It's not that I can pour. Look, man, I can't pour $10,000 into the studio every
Right.
month or whatever and support a child and a family. Like, whenever I want to be a dad and I want to be a husband, I want to be the best husband and dad I can be.
Right.
And so, therefore, I need to focus on that. And if,
I
look,
really hope Cassie's listening to all this.
well, whatever, but whatever. But if I blow up and I can take my family on the road and I
Yeah.
can be like this rock star dad, I would much rather prefer that.
Yeah.
But regardless, I know I have my my responsibilities in order.
Yeah.
Where if I need to grow up and be a fucking man, I'll grow up and be a fucking man.
If you had to stop playing music tomorrow, except with the exception of just going out and doing bars, let's just say you know.
Yeah.
Somebody tomorrow calls you up and says, Houston, I'm pregnant.
I got a kid. I got a kid.
Are you? Would you stop playing and worrying about traveling and just devote yourself and say, this is it, concrete business it is?
It's very hard to say, man. I think that I will always keep my talent. You know, my dad and I were having this conversation earlier this week, and we were talking about, you know, my dad, when he was 18 or 19, he went to the Nationals in Atlanta, Georgia, and he placed 7th in the nation for bricklaying. Wow. And he's an incredible talent when it comes to bricklaying. And he told me, he's like, you know, Houston, the thing is, man, is you may not have fallen into construction or bricklaying, but you have found something that you can make a lot of money in and you can just do on your own. You can book gigs, you can get this. And I absolutely believe it, man. And look, I know
That's
how
great
to work.
to have his support, too.
For sure. You know what? I've talked to my buddy Logan, whatever, you know, my producer for this new record. And he talks to me, his parents have, whatever that deal is, that's his shit. But the thing is like he tells me, he's like, it's great that you have a father that supports you. And look, I am very privileged. What I feel like, at the bottom of everything, at the bottom of my bones, this is what the honesty is. My grandfather and my dad have worked their ass off and sweated in the Florida sun to build something incredible. And I, too, have that responsibility to build something incredible, but I also have the privilege of being the rich kid from the suburbs that could potentially be famous.
Yeah.
And so, therefore, why would I not take every opportunity I can to turn $1 million into $1 billion? And that's how I feel.
God damn.
You have my support.
God damn.
That's how I feel.
I feel it.
Yeah, he
That
just
is like,
he just got me jacked up.
Fuck.
Like, I'm
I want to go like
super
run
excited.
a fucking mile.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I'm fucking ready. I'm pumped.
Well, you can go
how
run
I
a mile.
feel.
I'm not going to do that.
You two, hey, I'm going to say this publicly on the podcast. You two gentlemen have a conversation. I got to pee like
Yeah, man.
nobody's business. All right.
Go Tinkle, dude.
Oh, this has been a lot of fun. You know,
Houston Key. Holy shit. This dude is a fucking
I
trip.
told you it was gonna be good times.
I like it a lot.
So now, next week's gonna be an interesting episode. We're bringing Daniel Biddle back
Daniel Biddle and his baby mama.
and his baby mama, Phoenix Midnight, as I know her on Facebook. I don't know if that's her real name, but that's what I'm calling her.
I like Phoenix, I like the name Phoenix Midnight.
But they recently, they've recently had a big announcement that baby Biddle is on the way.
Baby Biddle.
And we're going to talk to
Baby
them
Battle.
about what's, about the world today and where the world is, and quite frankly, how scary it is bringing a child into this world. What does that feel like? So we're going to talk about that. And
well, I mean, you have kids.
I do.
I have a couple of fur babies.
You have a couple dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have 2 dogs and a cat.
Well,
So I don't really have a whole lot to say
I'm
about
just
it.
as a parent with 2, I'm hoping that we find our way back to some sense of normalcy, because I know there's been a lot of crazy shit going on. Last week's episode was a really special episode for me. Talking with Brandon, like we did,
Brandon was really
it was a very
cool.
open and very honest conversation with him, and I really enjoyed talking with him. as a person. I've enjoyed, I getting to know him. In the couple conversations we've had have been just really amazing. But I was incredibly affected by what he's been through. His story was incredibly.
Yeah, I mean, like everything
moving.
that he talked about. I mean, like we had a good chance to talk to him and meet him and talk to him.
It's like with everything that's going on in the world right now, I can't stress enough like how much we have just all got to come together. As a community, as a people, man. We just got to fucking come together as one. There's no other way around it. There's no need for division. We've just got to fucking come together and love one another and stop fucking looting because I don't like the looting.
Yep.
I agree with everything that you're saying, and I think one of the coolest things about talking to Brandon was actually getting to know him on like a real personal level.
Yeah, I feel like I know. I feel like we're pals. I feel like we're friends, and I've never even met the guy. But that's why next time we do talk to him, we're gonna sit him down here in Porchville, and we're gonna have ourselves a drink and talk about it. But we're about to go the fucking distance here. I'll tell you what. So,
man,
you got anything you want to touch on these last few?
The thing is, man, is I feel like, and it's funny because I talked to a few friends before, because I was telling them, I was like, man, I'm going on a podcast. I was like, what a crazy ass time to go on a podcast. And
we barely talked about all the crazy shit going on in the world.
Of course.
Which is probably a good thing because I think it gives people a distraction. It gives them something else to listen to talk about.
I agree with you, man.
You don't have to listen to like COVID shit. You don't have to listen to racist shit.
Yeah,
and,
it's something different. We're something different.
I agree with you, man. And when I was having a conversation with people about how if this did get brought up, how I should handle it, and and I mean, I don't have a 2 cents to add to it. The truth is like, look, man, I'm a rich white kid from the suburbs. I cannot possibly relate to whatever it may be for as far as discrimination or whatever it may be. I think that the movements are important, and I think that things like this have to happen for certain things to happen. And I really don't want to get into it, but the truth is just like, I don't have an opinion, and I don't have the right answer, and I feel like I have such a big mouth and such a big platform, including you guys and including as far as the shows. I'm speaking over a microphone all the time. My voice is amplified, so I have not only a responsibility to talk about it, but also a responsibility to say the right things, and I don't have the right things to say because I can't relate to that, and it's... Look, I understand it's terrible. I don't agree with the rioting, but I also don't agree with the police killings. And it's like, I'm in the middle, man. Like, I think I love police. I listen, every time I call them and they're there, that's fucking awesome. But I also don't agree with bad cops. But look, I don't think that some bad cops should justify all cops. Like, I don't. But then again, I know that there has been a racial bias regardless, and look, the bottom line is I'm a white rich kid from the suburbs and I have no room to talk on it. So listen, if you want someone to listen to, go talk to a smart, reasonable black man that has lived in it and understands it and that I have no room to talk. I want them to have every platform to talk.
Well, excuse me. And that was one of the conversations that I was having with a friend of mine was talking about the leadership in the black community. I asked him, I said, 30, 40 years ago, however long ago it was, you had Martin Luther King, somebody that everybody was, getting behind, and he was the leader, the leader of the movement.
Yep.
And I was curious. I wanted to know who that leader was now. And he told me, he said, there isn't one.
No, there's no Malcolm X out there.
And I said, well, why the hell not? And he says, because look at all the motherfuckers that have taken that role. Who wants to fucking be that guy?
Of course.
Who wants to put that
Same as the
on their
president.
back? Yeah.
Who wants to be the president?
Exactly. Why the fuck would you want to be the president?
Why?
Fuck that job.
Fuck that job. Fuck that job.
Seriously.
For real. I don't get it.
Wait, I thought you guys were going to vote for me to be president.
Well, yeah.
Matt for president.
I'll go for that.
2024.
I'll go for that.
To be honest with you, man, I mean,
I thought we talked about that last week, that I was going to be president.
Yes.
Not to get political at all.
Yeah.
Trump is going to be the next president.
Yeah.
Listen, Joe Biden is not. Are you kidding me?
What the fuck?
What the fuck is right?
What the fuck?
Why would we give him the supreme seat of democracy?
That guy doesn't know where he left his fucking keys.
Bernie Sanders would have been better than anybody.
I'd vote for Bernie any day over Joe Biden. Any day.
And I'm not a socialist, but
Nope.
any day.
Any day. Just because I think he's at least there.
I think he's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick,
well,
you said you're going to vote for me.
I will.
I will vote for Matt over Trump.
There you go.
Anyway.
Write me in,
Write him in.
motherfucker.
Well, hey, man, I've had a great time. I don't know if your time's is up or whatever it may be, but I've had a great time.
This has been awesome.
This has been fucking awesome.
This has been a lot of fun.
Listen, I'm gonna bring on some more artist friends
Yes.
because I think this podcast is important, and I think that it inspires people to have not only more podcasts, but I just think, like, look, dude, I hit you up and I was like, dude, I got so much to talk about. I really want to talk about it, and you gave me the platform.
Yeah, man.
That's what I feel like, and it's amazing.
But
I
see,
love that
I
you're
feel
doing
like
it.
I've and now we're gonna get on that weird fucking no you man no you because I feel like you're giving me the platform because you actually want to come on and talk about the shit that you're putting out there in the
I
world.
do.
That makes me happy because that lets me know, hey, you know, you feel like we're doing the right thing. We're
Goddamn right.
moving in the right direction. So I appreciate it. HoustonKeen.com
Woo!
is where they can find you. And
Hit it up.
of course, we're gonna link to that in the show notes over there at porchvillepod.com,
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're gonna let Houston Keen play us out with that song "Church Girls" we was talking about it a little earlier. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the Porchville Podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter,
And Spotify.
Porchville, Porchmail at porchvillepod.com.
Check it out.
Much love to you. Bye-bye.
around, but only just for fun. Black and blue, borrow like new. I'll break your heart, baby, just to lead you through. You know, 'cause I love you. 'Cause I've been throwing my punches, trying to pull a gun fight. My head punches hard on the interstate lights. It's 3 a.m. I wonder where you are tonight. I'm high strung in bed, stop to start again. I'm losing myself to dirty cheap sense, but I know what you want in the end. Picket fence and 2 good kids, and God on your side with a sweet husband. That little house just around the bend, and a diamond ring to remind me when.
Hearing that from you, that really means a